What's going on, family? What's going on? Good rising, good rising. Black Feniks checking in. Right now, I am inside of Mama's house and just wanted to come to you and talk to you this morning about being angry and not committing a crime. There is an old scripture that says, "Be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down on your wrath." In life, we're going to face different heartaches, different hurts. We're going to face bullies on the job, at school, in the church, in the community, you know, playing sports, and things happen to us where sometimes, a person will push things off until it gets to a point where they'll overreact or they won't deal with certain things and then they'll overreact. As soon as I start this video, my dog get to acting like she want to go outside. What is your problem? As soon as I start this, she get to acting up. She been laying over there asleep the whole time, so I get to talk. But anyways, I wanted to come to you and talk about that because a lot of times, we won't deal with certain issues. We'll get angry. And especially growing up in the rural areas and the Black communities, we really don't know how to deal with anger. We really don't know how to deal with our emotions, period. So a lot of times, all we can do is lash out or respond in a negative way. Excuse me. Forgive me for that. I guess some daddy duties this morning with this dog I got. And I just took her out, so I don't know what the issue was. But anyways, I wanted to talk to you about that this morning because I was just thinking about that we don't really deal with our emotions that well or anger. Now, I would say this, I was thinking about myself and there's certain things, family, that, what happened that can instantly piss me off, like instantly make me mad. And the other things I can be like, but, a lot of times I think about it, and sometimes it's just the level of disrespect or certain things that a person would do, and they expect you not to respond. They expect because they may know you or, oh man, maybe he'll let me slide, and I think that's another reason too that some of us, when we deal with things like that, we tend to cut people off. We don't. As we grow older, we tend to have less relationships because we experience these things, and you tend to say, you know what, before I lose my peace, I would rather be solo or be by myself or only have a few associates or people that I actually fool with or deal with. And then, you're always going to have someone that's going to, I say, use you, so to speak. And again, and when someone uses you, it don't necessarily mean a bad thing. So it can be a child, it can be a family member, but, someone that always come to you for help, that's part of life, you know what I mean? And I think that, we're going to always have people like that. And so, me personally, I like to tell people, I didn't already chose the people that's going to use me. I got a list. I'm going to roll them down. So when somebody comes to the door, I'm like a bouncer. Now, I don't think you're on the list, sir. You can't get in this party. Unless you pay, because you can't get in what I mean? So it's funny, but that's the way we have to respond sometimes, man, when we're dealing with conflict and anger. So, this morning I was just thinking about, someone um, stole my son's bike. And the reason what made me so mad about the situation, I knew the way it was done, it was by a grown man, grown person. So, I don't have no understanding, you know what I mean, for this person, you know what I mean? So, yesterday I actually did some ride family, you know what I mean, because my son's gonna get ready to come down. So I don't see my son as it is. And if I get something that he's attached to, when I do see him, I like to make sure because he enjoyed it. So, you know, um, it kind of, it really rubbed me wrong, fam. So literally, I ain't gonna lie to you, I rode around looking for this bike. If I'd have seen dude on that bike yesterday, it'd have been a situation. You know how you be caught up in your mode at the time, and honestly, I'd have been justified, you know. But at the same time, certain things you got to allow the law to do their part. But then certain things you have to be able to stand up on your own and take care of. So honestly, yesterday while I was riding, you know, I was looking for dude on this bike. You know what I mean? I ain't see it, but I was looking for him, you know what I mean? And I'm not even gonna lie to you. If I'd have caught him in that moment, it wouldn't have went well. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have went well, family, you know what I mean? And so, I rolled for a minute, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably burnt a quarter tank of gas, you know what I mean? Then I went and did a job. And when I went and did this job, you know what I mean, I had a little some debris, some cleanup to do, you know what I'm saying, some removal. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go on and knock this job out real quick. On the way going to get the job, I was supposed to have been picking somebody else up that's going to do the job with me. I picked them up. No, I go by, pick them up, went out my way to go get them. They ain't there. So I'm like, man, I'm already halfway there now, so I don't want to turn back around. So I'm like, I might as well go and do the job by myself. So instead of me turning around, I went and did it by myself, knocked it out, got everything done. And it helped me think, though, while I was working, I was thinking, I was putting things in proper perspective, man, and I was still angry, you know what I mean? But I'm glad that, I didn't commit a crime, you know what I mean, right then, because sometimes, I understand why I say don't let the sun go down on your wrath, sometimes things can happen, You think about Christ going in the temples and he seen what they was doing in the temple and it instantly pissed him off. He got to throw on the table. This ain't what we doing here. Nah, this ain't what's up. He instantly got mad. And I don't think that there's nothing wrong for us to express our anger people disrespect, um, when people disrespect you, disrespect something that's very important in your life, so to speak. Your relationship with God and your family, your friends, there's certain things that's very, very important. And certain people might not understand the way you respond because you've been through trauma different, you know what I mean? Like, and I have, you know what I mean? I done experienced a lot of different things different. And I don't mean to respond certain ways. That's why I'm real laid back and I'm to myself. But certain things would trigger me, you know what I mean? And at that moment, I'm going to be honest with you, family, I'm not thinking. I have to give myself some time, fall back and be like, damn, you know what I mean? Or if I'm in it and someone else actually can pull me sometime, I'll be needing that, you know what I mean? I remember one time before I let you go, actually give me a second, I can hear this dog. Let me get him. But needless to say, though, a lot of times things that happen to us and we'll just respond, out of trauma, out of letting things build up, And I remember, going through this counseling thing in prison, and it was talking about how to deal with things as they come, not to allow things to build up, because as it build up, you'll tend to respond probably poorly or too fast, or you won't respond in an assertive way, maybe more of an aggressive way or a passive way to it. And, it'll build up. And the goal is to just deal with it face on, to try to have the most clearest head as possible. But, with the climate we're going through, fam, it seems like it almost feels like everybody's walking on eggshells, so to speak, where your nerves are like this, you trying to pay bills, look out for family, you trying to work on yourself, you trying to build business, as long as you hear they charging us, regardless of what's going on, prices are steady going up. So you got to figure something out, you know what I mean? Like, you a gallon of, luckily I don't even drink milk, but I seen a gallon of milk that went from $1 or something to $5, you know what I mean? It's crazy the way the system is going. And so certain things, man, can really push buttons, you know what I mean? But yesterday I was thinking, and I'm coming to you live about this because I really, really had to think, fam, how you have so much on your plate and you deal with life and you deal with changing and growing and you deal with facing the system, you know what I mean? Realizing some truths that certain things you just have to realize, man, this is how this is, and you got to find a way to make it work, fam. And, like I say, when it's all said and done, man, sometimes it can be something small, literally, that can trigger you, you know what I mean? So you have to be cautious, you know what I mean? You have to, it's okay to be angry, but don't commit a crime. Don't put yourself in a situation where everything you work so hard for is easily took away, you know what I mean? I've been there several times as far as having a thought or being in the situation where it could have went completely left field, being in a situation where it went left field, it just wasn't no laws involved, you know what I mean? So the best thing to say, fam, is, we have to just learn to deal with things properly, but not saying that it's not, there's nothing wrong with getting angry, because people can do certain things that strike up that emotion, and there's nothing wrong when you come home and see your property gone and you're mad. You come home and see somebody in your bed and you're mad. You go to work and they treating you bad and you're mad. You know what I mean? Like, certain things can happen that can trigger you. You know what I mean? I get it. But yesterday, fam, I'm not even gonna lie, I was so upset, fam, with, my son's bike getting stolen, you know what I mean? I don't see him as much as it is anyway. When he got a chance to come down here a few times to my mom's house, you know what I mean? Or my house. So, most people say, man, why you still call it your mom's house? Well, to me, it's always be my mom's house. I'm just passing through, and then my daughter probably say, she probably still say, oh, this is grandmama house and dad's house and that's my house. You know what I mean? However it go, you know what I mean? I just feel like, some things can happen in our life, and we just have to try to, think things through the best way as possible. I'm not saying that that's easy, because sometimes, that's easier said than done, especially in the heat of the moment, you know what I mean? And, sometimes, I also think that, like I say, not only that situation happened, but how it happened. And then, we used to say growing up, man, it's the principle, man, of how, what happened, that this got to be taken care of, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I just grew up, in an era where, if a situation was brought to my table, I never ran from the family. You know what I mean? I never ran from a situation. If a situation popped up, you're going to have to do something to me. That's just what it was. You know what I mean? Like, my mom used to always tell me, she was like, don't never run from nobody. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. You know what I mean? And she used to say that because I remember her telling me that she got in a situation with this bully. He was always picking on her. And my daddy told me, if you run home, then you're going to get a whooping from me. And she was more scared of my granddaddy whooping her than this dude. So she was like, shoot. They got off that bus, and my mama said she let them have it, you know what I mean, and got them, And my mom was a fighter anyway, you know what I mean? She was country, coming from Tiller, Reed, and gravel roads, you know what I mean? And cotton fields, you know what I mean? My mom was always a scrapper, you know what I mean? And, it was what it was. So, it was in me anyway, but it wasn't in a way where I'm just picking for stuff. It's just if something pop off, fam, I never ran. To this day I won't, so, if I'm cool with you and something jump off, I'm in it. It is what it is, you know what I mean? So, I try to keep myself from around people like that because, when you know yourself, and that's sometimes what people see, me to myself, and, I'm just doing my own thing because I know who I am. You got to know who you are too while you changing, fam. Don't be naive. If being around this certain person can trigger this and you will get real upset and you know that they might do it. Don't be around them. Why put yourself through that? You know what I mean? So, I like to, once I see who a person is, I'm going to even push off from them. I'm going to let them know so there ain't going to be no, man, I want to know what's going on with Feniks. You going to know what's going on with me if I'm not messing with you. You know what I mean? So I just tend to just do my thing because I know how I am. And I'm still working on me. I remember this guy I heard saying, man, God's still working on me, man. Don't try me like this. He said, I ain't got it to, I ain't made it to that level where I need to be. But honestly though, I know, we all, especially from rural areas, man, we working on our emotions. We're working on traumas. We got family members, who have had issues that, never been addressed. We'll say, oh, so-and-so, just look over them. We never really got them any help. And then over time, things happen and then it gets worse, you know what I mean? So, we have to be aware of that now, if a person have issues or needs some counseling or whatever the situation is, we need to try to seek that versus then, just throw it under the rug, so to speak, But this morning I was just thinking about, being angry and not committing a crime. I like to say it like that because we're in a new time, fam, and most of us need to understand that, we have to slow down and think things through, and this is not saying that, you ain't gonna make mistakes, but the mistakes, at least it's not gonna lead to no incarceration, no more time or nothing like that. But when it comes to taking care of your fam, Arkansas do have a stand your grounds, you know what I mean? So, when it comes to protecting your family, you want to make sure you're good. You want to make sure ain't nobody running in your door. If so, you gonna leave a couple of them there. If they get you, some of them gonna be leaving, staying there too. You know what I mean? So, you got to protect your home. You know what I'm saying? That's a given. But certain things, fam, we have to just, we have to let go. And I get it in the moment, man. It be in the moment it can be rough, fam, because I have been faced with, especially when you're dealing with other things, when you have so many things on your plate that got you like at an edge where you almost feel like, like, man, you about to just explode, you know what I mean? So we have to just, as far as like that, what was that movie when the guy says sometimes it's got the sign, family. You got to meditate. Life is what it is, you know what I mean? And I think about it, man, to be realistic, because sometimes, I tend to make jokes out of situations that might not be funny to someone else. But if it happened to me, sometimes I'll make a joke out of it just to make me deal with it. I just laugh. I like, what, yeah. But, I also realize too, things happen for a reason. So, I also think like did I do something to place? But the crazy thing is, sometimes I heard Rick Ross say this morning on YouTube. He said, if a person don't want to be in a position to change or be in a boss position, you can put them in as many positions as you want to, and they still gonna blow it. They still gonna fail because it's not in them. You know what I mean? So I realized you can't rise no one up. You know, if they rise, you can give them a hand, but you can't pick them up. That's why I like to say that, my purpose isn't to, waken anyone. It's not to get you out your sleep. Hey, man, it's 5 o'clock, man. It's time to get ready for work. We got to be there at 6. That's not my purpose, man. You know what I mean? My purpose is just to be a light. That's what I realized. And while you a light and while you shining, sometimes the light get hot. It is what it is. That bulb get hot. You don't want to touch it sometimes, but it still shines. Sometimes, we go through things where we have to, it makes us a certain way, when we experience battles and wars. And a lot of the strong men that we represent have always stood and been willing to stand for whatever, you know what I mean? And I remember I was saying to a friend of mine yesterday, and to my aunt, I texted him and I said, I can still be a man of God and cut my enemy's ears off, cut my enemy's ear off. Peter did it, laugh out loud, you know what I mean? Sending a couple of emojis, you know what I mean? But I was thinking about how funny it was, because here Peter go, he got so upset that someone was trying to capture, trying to capture Christ, that he cut the man's ear off. And Christ healed him and said, hey, we ain't about this. We're going to let, this be. But he still, he was down. Like, nah, you got to take us. You know what I mean? And I got the heart of Peter, fam. You know what I mean? I know that, certain things that you got people that won't go. And when it comes to people that I love, fam, and, I'm very, I'm very loyal, to people I love. I ain't got to even talk to you all the time. But if I love you, you know what I mean, I'm there, I'm going to support you, you know what I mean? So I always like to say, what's understood don't need to be explained. Actions will always speak louder than words, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to talk to you about that this morning, about, be angry and don't commit a crime, fam. Don't put yourself in a situation or back in a situation for those who are already felons. And it seems like now, I've been noticing anyway, some of our brothers been getting out and been getting into domestic violence and situations and relationships. Fam, I just want to say this. My mom told me this one time, she she told me this with 2 black eyes. She said, baby boy, and that's what she called me at that time. She was like, baby boy, you can't make nobody love you. You can't beat nobody and make them love you. You can't force them. If it's going to be there, it's going to be there. And you shouldn't beat someone because they caught you in the wrong. They caught you cheat. They caught you disrespecting the house, and you get mad and whoop them. What type of stuff is that? You know what I mean? Like, she used to always tell me, man, promise me you ain't gonna put your hands on no woman. You can't beat nobody. And then she said, well, promise me you ain't gonna be no damn fool too. Let no woman take advantage of you. See, it comes both ways, fam. You have to be realistic, and seeing my mom go through that, seeing my mom fight, seeing my mom, lose things, seeing my mom do things that she normally wouldn't have done if it wouldn't have been for feeding us, it makes me remember, why I'm doing it. I have to remember, man, this is why we're doing it. And my mom was the type of person, if you do certain things, she'll instantly get upset. And I guess that's just something that's in me, But and me being an Aries, like somebody said that the other day. But I've been learning to deal with certain things, fam, and and in life, I feel I have, came a long way to be 42 and still dealing with things, but I have got better, most definitely better and better over time. But there was a time where I was like a time bomb, you know what I mean? And, so, to look at that and to look where I'm at now, I can most definitely see the progress. So with this conversation, I'm actually just being naked and not ashamed, man. Just, revealing who I am because, we all have flaws. We all have things that we're working on, fam. And anger can be one of those things that can come from, many different places. And especially the rural areas where we're from, I'm from Arkansas. I'm in Arkansas right now. I'm in Southeast, Delta, Mississippi, Louisiana corner. It's I would say, so much cotton down here, you know what I mean? It's some money. Everything made of cotton. You got cotton as a big producer, and growing up, fam, thinking about me chopping cotton family for some school clothes and getting on that back of that truck with my mom. Wasn't old enough. My mom had to go with me, but they allowed me to go so that way we can get 2 checks in the house. My mom, she gave me some money, but at that time, fam, I was young. Like I wouldn't even, I know I wouldn't even think, I maybe was 10. And then when I started, and then I did it a couple more years where I was like, a teenager. I think the last time I probably did it was 12 or something, maybe 13. I can't remember, maybe 13 when last time I did it, or 12 or 13, but I know I was real young when I first started, going out there, meeting at this local store called the Cracker Box. We'll meet up there and we'll walk up there with our little bags in the morning, get us a couple of Zuzus, and we'll jump on the back of the truck, head out to the field. You know what I mean? I think about those days now, fam, and the struggle. The struggle has always been real. And we make it into different stages of our life, and we have to remember those struggles because, we have to remember where we came from, what we already survived. And sometimes that can be the biggest key above anything, just remembering what you already survived, So this morning, fam, I was just thinking about, be angry and don't commit a crime. Don't get caught up. Don't put yourself in a situation where you are risking your family again. You're risking your loved ones. You are having to, pay something for, what I'm saying, from your actions. So just think about them, I was just thinking I got a ticket a few months ago, speeding on the way back. I had went to go get my daughter and my son. And I don't even lie, I was a little irritated, not at them at all, but just the situation of what I had to do and how it had to be done in order for me to do it. So I literally wasn't really paying attention. You know how you be in the zone. I was just riding, going with the traffic, but trying to go on and get to where I was getting to. So, I was going, I think he said I'm going to 80 in he said I was going 80 in a 20. But when I seen the lights and I was going down, I know I was going 70. You know what I mean? Because I seen, the 60 when it hit 60, but I'm going with the traffic. Traffic was going, so I know I was going 70. But you can't beat that. You know what I mean? So I just paid the ticket. But the crazy part about the ticket though, it was higher in initial when I first looked it up, and they had it on my deal. I was like, man, I checked it like maybe a few days later, and I seen how high it was, and I waited. I waited for a while. I said, I'm gonna pay it. Wait for a minute. And family, I waited to literally not knowing. I think it maybe was 2 or 3 days. Man, it couldn't have been a week before. It had to be 2, 3, maybe 4 days before the ticket was due. And I thought I had more time. I don't know where I'm thinking. My mind was like way off. I don't know why I seen October at. Family, I seen October on this ticket for some reason, but I don't know why I seen that. But anyway, I'm thinking I had plenty of time. But some reason I checked on something else and I checked on it, and it was like due soon. But when I checked on it this time, it was actually a little cheaper than it was from initiation. Really a lot cheaper. But I saved maybe $50, $75 cheaper. I ain't gonna say a lot, but $50, $75 cheaper. So then I was like, let me go on and get this out the way. So maybe for me waiting, they said, well, we'll drop his song, keep it from coming to court. Give him one more chance, before he got I guess, I don't know how they do it, but it was cheaper. But so I paid the ticket off, and that's something I had to learn. And honestly, like I say, I don't really speed. Normally I drive pretty moderate, you know what I mean? But that day I was trying to get back, fam. I ain't gonna lie. I had a lot on my mind. I had been riding, so I was trying to accomplish a whole lot. So, it is what it is. I still got a chance to see my babies. We had a good time, But, we learn, we live and learn. So that was a lesson I had to learn. And I don't plan on catching any more speeding tickets. I like to sightsee now. Anyways, fam, like I say, I just wanted to come through and talk this morning. It was early. I was up. Like I said, I had to let my dog out earlier, so I don't even know why she was real on me from going back out there. But needless to say, I took her back. So apologize for that interruption. But like I say, I just wanted to go live this morning and talk about that. It was on my mind, and then plus I haven't been live in a minute. And I was just, thinking about how anger can just come in sometimes, man, So, I've been learning to deal with things a lot better, you know what I mean, than the past, you know what I mean? But, we always gonna face things that can happen. So we have to be aware that, anger can transform into other things. So, we have to just be aware of that, fam, and just stay safe, protect ourselves out here, be cautious because, everything is changing, fam. So we have to change with it, So, if you're working on yourself, your business, your career, whatever you're doing, don't do too much of nothing. No, I'm gonna leave on this note. I did a lot of, I did some reading in Ecclesiastes yesterday. Very, very, it's not a real big book. So I would say if anyone get the opportunity to just read the whole thing, there's not a lot of chapters in this book. But it's a very good book. But I was actually reading, I want to say I was in chapter 12, chapter 11 and 12. I believe it's chapter 11 and 12 yesterday. And just the conclusion of the matter. And Solomon, he had asked God for wisdom instead of riches. And God blessed him with riches and wisdom. And then in his life, he realized that having wisdom was having great sorrow. Having knowledge was painful, it was grieful. He realized that the more he knew, that he said that what is the whole conclusion for man? Like he was like, we can toil with our hands and we can build up wealth and we got to leave it to somebody that never worked a day in their life. He said, to me, that's madness. He was like, what's the point behind everything? He have seen good and bad in everything. He had gave, he had built, he had thousands of wives, and at the end of the day, fam, he said something that was really, like, just really, really just hit me. He was like, the conclusion of the whole matter is fear God, keep his commandments, and enjoy the fruit of your labor. For what else? He said, for what has been, will be again. There's nothing new under the sun. Sometimes we just have to simplify things just like that. Bam, bam, bam. Fear God, respect who created you, respect what he created. Keep yourself in line spiritually, and enjoy the fruit of your labor. We work hard, don't overwork. And it even said that in there. He said, don't be overwise. Don't be over foolish. Don't just work. Enjoy the fruit of your labor. You got people who work, and they get to a point where they get ill and they never get a chance to enjoy what they work for. Because all they was doing was work, 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 work. You know, sometimes we can get caught up in different ways. So when we look at stuff simple like that, it's like, man, ain't nothing wrong with being ambitious. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting something new. Ain't nothing wrong with putting yourself in a better position. Just realize, you know, are you okay with the cost it might cost you to get that? It might cost you some time in your life. It might cost you some discomfort while you still alive. You can't live life comfortably because now you have a disability that you created from pushing yourself, thinking you had to go, go, go. You know, not wanting to rest, not wanting to give, you know, not wanting to take things easy. You know, pushing yourself all the time, stressing yourself all the time, being angry all the time. You know, different things can cause health issues, fam. So we have to be aware with that, and we have to be aware that, you know, life is short. We don't know how long we got. We have lost a lot of loved ones due to this pandemic, due to this virus. So it's a new climate now. So, you know, in this climate, I would say that it's very important that you live your purpose, that you find out what it is, that you just enjoy life, enjoy the fruit of your labor, enjoy your loved ones, smile, laugh. You know, we all going to deal with issues, deal with people, and just live life. Create something great for you that you can pass down, because that's just what it is. You want to create a better situation for your family. You know what I mean? And not just financially, but educational. We want to give them something that if they got the right knowledge, the money is paper, family. Wisdom and knowledge is the key to riches. Y'all be blessed, man. Hold on.